you sort of are talking about like eating meat like it's some sort of necessity, and I just don't understand how you're
Yeah,
saying that
if you think about it, it's a necessity. It's gonna
but
stay healthy. You gotta eat meat.
I haven't eaten meat for over 25 years, and
But
have you
that's
ever
you.
heard?
That's you. It's a tool necessary for survival. Someone has to die. That's a cycle. It's survival of the fittest. If you are not strong enough to live, then you don't deserve them.
But I mean, isn't that what every like horrible thing that's ever happened in history is because the strong preyed upon the weak?
But that's when we come to humankind. We're talking about animals, not humans. That's a different thing. Motive outpowers like emotions. Like when you know you're gonna get something, like a reward out of doing something, then it's human mentality to do it.
Right. So it seems like it's kind of like you're saying that if you have tribalistic selfishness, then that will overpower any sense of justice you have or empathy you have.
It varies on the level of intensity. Like, so I get your point of view. Like you're saying that animals suffer, they feel pain, and that's why we shouldn't kill them. I get it. But in the end of the day, everyone ain't gonna feel for animals like you do. But
I'm not sure, like,
everyone ain't like that.
I'm not sure what you mean by emotional. Like, the reason why we do everything we do is ultimately because we care about it, right? I mean, isn't that why you do anything? Because you care about it? Like, why is emotion like emotion is not like it's not like something to run away from or something to like. It's just like you do something because you care about it. That's why you do it.
I see myself as more like my values control like whether or not I care about the animal dying or so. I have no reason to care about the animal's life.
But it's still wrong, and you're only doing it because you
It's
have the power to
wrong.
do it. And you have
I
the power to
agree
do it.
upon that, but I mean, just
So
imagine that like some alien race comes here and is like a bit more intelligent than us. They have nothing to gain from like making us survive. They can just like kill us and take our resources and then fly away. But I mean, if they are like a lot smarter, it's just like we and ants. I mean, do you care about ants? Like, do you like avoid stepping on them? Do you like look at where you go? Do you
I mean,
not
try
really.
to save them? Like, nah, you don't care. But like for them, it's out of their life. You're like gods for them. You can like fuck up their lives and stuff.
So
But
you're saying like when the aliens come in, we're gonna be the ants, right?
it depends. I mean,
well,
if
wait
we're
a
not
second.
like useful.
If the aliens are smarter than humans, wouldn't they be? Then we'd be like the animals to the aliens, not like animals to the
Exactly.
aliens. Right.
Yeah,
So,
I
and the
get
way
you.
we should treat, and the way we should treat animals is with not only compassion but also respect
They are
for
not
their own
worth
value.
our time.
I just want to go back for a moment because like you're saying you don't care about the animals, and I guess Mystique doesn't care about the animals, and it seems like I really think it's worth thinking about what it is about your own life that has value. Like why do you get up in the morning?
Because
Yeah,
I
Why?
like the
have to.
thing is that it won't change anything. Like why are we even debating about this? In the end of the day, people are gonna kill animals.
I mean, there are a million reasons to be a vegan. I mean, but the reason why I am a vegan is because I care about those who can experience life in the way that I care about when I experience it myself.
The thing is that you can't really compare a human to an animal. Like human is a complex being. It feels emotion. It has motives. They don't feel emotion as complexly as we do, right? Like they don't have a motive to live or anything. They don't have any goals. They don't feel that complexity of emotion.
But like the love itself, isn't that amazing? Like, shouldn't you like not eat anything or kill anybody who could? Like, should you not? I mean, my feeling you should not kill anyone who can feel that because that's precious, and to kill somebody who can feel that means that you're not
Yeah,
valuing.
that's right. Yeah, you're totally right. I wouldn't kill a dog or a puppy because I know they feel love between each other. But I would kill an ant because I know an ant doesn't feel love.
I mean, you would agree that birds and mammals
But
feel
there's
love
no
too,
one more
don't they?
complex than us.
But don't you think that
Sorry, what?
do you think birds and mammals feel love?
Yeah, they do. Birds and mammals do feel love.
Oh,
I totally agree to that.
so like,
Why would they feel love?
would you be willing to give up eating products from birds and mammals then?
I mean, yeah, I guess I could because yeah, I know they feel love.
Starting tomorrow, okay.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Yep,
Yeah, like, you're turning me into a vegan
confirm.
now.
Wow.
I mean, your logic is against yourself, man.
Yeah, you kind of proved me wrong in
I'm
some
standing with
ways.
what I say. I don't care about animals dying unless I care for the animal like personally, because I like animals. But I mean, like the fact of animals dying and stuff, they're not worth my time because I have like no gain or no
No, we
loss
should
from a
respect. We
random
should
cow
respect.
dying on the
Yeah,
other side of the planet. I don't see how I can
I mean, you
change
know
the
what?
world for the better by changing what I eat. I have no reason. Can you give me one reason to care about the random cow in Asia?
Justice.
Justice? What do you mean
Yeah.
justice?
At the very, very least, what the very minimum we can expect of ourselves is not to kill those who can feel love. That we should respect those who can feel love and give them the opportunities to find those experiences, because
Okay, if we say
feeling
like
love is
that, like
precious.
the pure killing thing, I don't care at all about that because I mean, like, game over, that's it, goodbye. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but when you kill
But I
someone, you
mean,
take their future away
but I
and
mean,
all their future
like,
opportunities.
for example, like torturing an animal, I would like never agree with that. But like killing a cow, like mercifully or whatever,
So
I don't see the problem with that.
why? Okay, just going back to like why
Or I
you
see the problem with that, but I don't, I don't feel
no
anything
no
for the
the
cow.
thing. I understand you don't feel anything for the cow, but my question is like, do you actually cherish anything in your life, like on a day-to-day basis? There's something that you feel like, do you ever have an experience where you tell yourself, you know what, this makes life worth living? Is there anything like that for you?
I mean, I like humans. That's all.
Yeah,
I
so
think
like, is there
humans are
like,
cool.
can you think of whoever you love the most in the world? Just imagine like giving them a really big hug. Like, just kind of experience that, like feel that. Isn't that amazing?
I mean, as of now, I don't like feel that strongly for anyone, but I would say, like, for example, like my mom. Of course, I
Yeah,
like her. I
man.
appreciate her and stuff. But I mean, it's not,
And even if you don't even if you don't even think about like how you feel now, just imagine like how you felt when you were a child, and you hugged like your mom. Like,
yeah,
that probably felt like fucking amazing, you know?
yeah,
You know, that's what these animals are able to feel every time they connect with those they love. I mean,
yeah.
because love is such a powerful basic emotion. So if that thing matters, like if that matters to feel that thing, then if you're willing to kill somebody or anything or a being that can feel that, you're kind of telling yourself this doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
that feeling doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as much as my taste preferences, right?
Yeah.
And then like, isn't that like, so subconsciously you're just telling yourself over and over and over again, like that feeling doesn't matter. Like love doesn't matter. Love doesn't matter. Love doesn't matter. Because if you eat a being that can love, you're just telling yourself over and over again, love doesn't matter. I mean, can you imagine what that does to your psyche doing that every single day? You know, it's like, what is it worth it?
Yeah,
Killing
it's
an
like
animal.
basically killing love,
Yeah,
like in a way.
killing love. Yeah.
I wouldn't kill someone who feels love, like that's like
No, you wouldn't,
that's
but you can still buy it off the shelf or go to McDonald's without any
like because it's
problems.
gonna make me feel guilty, right?
You know that in the slaughterhouses, like when they pay these people, generally very poor people, to get these jobs, and they really have no other choice, and they spend their entire day repeatedly killing these animals, like one after another, after another, after another, and and like they watch them just die and
Fucked up.
scream and be terrified, and
Yeah.
like, it's like, and like they push these people so hard that some of these animals don't even get, they miss them, they're not even able to slaughter them in time, and they get boiled alive and dismembered alive and all this horrible shit. And it's like, can you imagine what that does to a person? I mean, they've actually done studies where slaughterhouses are and compared them with like similar neighborhoods that don't have slaughterhouses, and
Yeah.
the ones that employed the most people from the area, that the most, the areas that had the most people employed to work in slaughterhouses, there was like far higher rates of child abuse, killing, animal abuse,
Yeah, because it's
spousal
mental.
abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it destroys you
That's
mentally.
why you separate yourself from that. Most
totally.
people, can we agree upon that most people care about themselves more than anything else?
I think that most people fundamentally deep down care the most about being just. they care about being a just person, a good person.
Yeah,
I
feel
think
like
most
good about themselves.
no, I think most people would be willing to die rather than do something horribly evil. Most people, yeah,
Yeah, horribly evil. Yeah,
right. Well,
and
taking a
picking
life.
something off the shelf is not
Well,
considered
yeah, but
horribly
but
evil.
like here's one thing, in the course of your life, if you go vegan, let's say today,
Yeah,
there's probably going to be like 7,000 animals that less than you eat, uh, in terms of just the sheer number, and
yeah,
even if you don't think that you can do much in terms of like impacting, even if like changing the number of animals you eat by hundreds is not going to even affect the number of animals they kill because maybe it isn't the system isn't like worked out that way. I think over the course of a whole lifetime, demanding like 7,000, 8,000 less animals to die just for you.
if for example McDonald's and KFC would change to like some non-meat thing, I would I would like more than likely love to eat that as well. I would not have nothing against it. It would probably like be tasty, if not even more tastier.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like a gagapus that you're kind of not that far from veganism yourself.
No, I would have nothing against it, but as I say, I don't feel like I'm changing anything.
No, like
I
thinking about compassion and love when you're eating meat is literally like the least priority on my list. So like I wouldn't really change, But maybe
so I,
later on when I have lesser duties and responsibilities, I might change as a person, and maybe that's when I become a vegan. Who knows?
but let me just ask you a question, like Mystique. Like, it's something that I think it's like really worth thinking about.
Yeah, sure.
Like there's a lot of like shit in the world like that we can't change. Like of course we take on duties that we have to like responsibilities that we have, but isn't like the most fundamental responsibility that we all have to basically not willfully like harm others and exploit others. Like before we accept any duties to help others, shouldn't our first focus be to not harm others? And like that's the thing about like the one thing when you buy meat is that some love capable being was tortured for their entire life and killed for this piece of product on your plate. Like that you paid for that. That's an actual harm that you have done in your life. Whereas like
No, but yeah, I
how
get you. But the thing is that everyone won't think of this like when they're biting into a piece of ham. They might be thinking of like the next Tom Cruise movie. They could be thinking
right.
of going home and chilling with their friends. Everyone won't think, but like a lot of people do and a lot of people don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, do we have any choice in terms of what we should what we focus on? Like, don't we have any agency in terms of like focusing, let's say, more on like our responsibility not to harm others versus like maybe a Tom Cruise movie? Like, don't we have a responsibility to force ourselves to? Isn't that part of being a responsible person?
But like everyone's not responsible.
Well, I guess that's true. That's kind of one of the sad things, right? I mean,
Yeah.
hmm, yeah. Well, so I've done most of my research on human brain imaging, where basically I just like it was mostly on addiction, on like drug addiction,
Yeah.
and eventually went into like looking at the brain image people in association with irrational behavior, because I was ultimately really trying to understand kind of what is this is like kind of why when Mystique was talking about you know emotions versus logic, I found that really interesting because that's what I study. It's it's sort of how the brain processes reward information and decides whether it's rational to basically evaluate their behavior. So I know it's a little bit let me see another way for me to say it. When you're making a choice, um, you probably have some expectation over whether that choice is the right or the wrong thing to do. You know, but there's actually a whole part of our brain dedicated to analyzing those choices every time we do them to make sure that they actually are what we really really want. Um, and that's really kind of what veganism is to me. It's like I wasn't always a vegan, but then I eventually discovered it was really deeply what I wanted. and that in fact it's not merely something that is emotionally something I care about. It's actually rational, and I think a lot of people don't don't realize that that's really what they want, and so there's a sort of dissonance. I'm sure you've heard of cognitive dissonance before, but there's like a dissonance in the brain because there's a conflict between what they really want and what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
And it tends to
Yeah.
and it tends to separate them from their own emotions and ultimately from reality itself. And you see this in people who have drug addictions, but I see the same thing in people that, believe it or not, they eat meat because it has a lot of the same similar patterns of behavior. So so that's basically what I've been trying to do in my research, is to kind of bring that all together to kind of show this rational component to making moral decisions. That was
Yeah,
one of my
that's really
passions.
interesting.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you as much about it as you want. I mean, it's
Do you?
I mean, it's something like, I mean, I think it's something that you might think it was complicated, and it is in some ways, but it actually is really understandable because it just makes so much sense. It all just fits together, like a
No.
puzzle.
I mean, it's related, but not directly related to what you said. But it's
Yeah.
related to neural science. And do you like believe in, or do you like or dislike Neuralink?
Oh, yeah. Neuralink's gonna. It's so interesting you bring that up. Okay. This is gonna change the world.
Okay, so you're looking forward to it then.
Just think about this for a moment. Okay. How well do you guys understand Neuralink? Like, if you did you watch the presentation?
Like, yeah,
So okay.
I watched a recap, but yeah, I've like
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
watched it
Okay.
before,
I
like
mean,
when he
I've just
started
heard
the
of the
company,
word,
and
to be
Oh,
honest.
okay. So let me give you a quick summary.
and Gaben as well.
I think Goggins knows it, but I'll give you a quick summary. So basically, you can take these you put this on the cortex of the brain, on the surface of the brain. You have these little this transmitter that will actually have many different metal electrodes that go into your brain that can record from many all the different areas of your brain, that sends out information that can actually be sent to the web, right? And you can just charge it just using, like, it's all like the way you charge your phone, like in inductive charging, so you don't actually have any contacts. There's no infection. It's completely underneath your head, your brain, right? Now, just think about this for a moment. Every single time you have a thought, okay, that has a certain pattern of activation, right? And you can
Mm.
have that pattern of activation like stored on a hard drive, like a movie. Like, so
Yeah.
every second or every fraction of a second, you have a movie of all of your activation. That is called a connectome. It's essentially a movie of your mind, or a movie of your conscious experience. Now, I could actually take that movie, that connectome, and I could stimulate someone else's brain with the same firing patterns that your brain gave off. I can actually stimulate their brain, and that way they could experience exactly what you experience. Exactly, they would be you. And this is so, using this technology, you can actually transmit thoughts and feelings and emotions and ideas. But what's even more amazing about it, I mean, this is not so far off in the future. Okay,
Is it like successful? Has it been like a successful experiment,
I mean,
or is it just a myth?
well, I mean, what I'm really talking about is sort of conceptually, sort of the idea of how you can use this information. But yeah, they've done basic, studies to show you can move objects, you can move, cursors on the screen. You can actually, pretty predictably, you can actually predictably change, like predict what someone's emotions are. You can actually even use this technology to read them a book and then have and then have but then have the computer actually put the story that they've been read to on the screen simply by looking at the brain activation. And here's the kicker, and Elon Musk did not mention this. Okay, I don't think a lot of people have drawn this connection, but of course, because I really, am interested in animals as well as,
Yeah.
as well as neuroscience. You know how he did all these experiments on the pigs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because pig brains are so similar to human brains. Okay, you can actually do something in the computer, which you have to do anyway when you're doing human brain imaging analyses. You have to actually You basically tell the computer that this part of the brain is actually on this guy, is actually this part of the brain on that guy, so that it kind of can like it sort of kind of pushes all the brains into the same space,
Yeah.
right? You can do that with a pig brain too. And so what that means is that if you put on your Neuralink and the pig has the Neuralink, you can actually feel the pig's thoughts and feelings and emotions, and you can transmit.
Damn.
Yeah, no
Damn.
shit. Yeah, talking about Dr. Doolittle shit. We'll be able
I
to communicate with
mean,
animals for the first time.
Do
bacon stonks
you
are
see? So
gonna
you
go
can, yeah.
down,
So you
man.
can basically feel the pig suffering and everything, like
Yeah.
what it's going through.
What's going to happen when someone uploads the pig's connectome on YouTube while that pig is being slaughtered? Will anyone ever eat
Nice.
pig again?
No, bacon
Oh
gonna go
fuck! Then the
down in
world's
price, man.
turning
I mean,
vegan.
It's really important, I'll be quite honest, that we figure this shit out, because I honestly think that animal rights is the number one most important issue facing us today, and it's for a couple reasons. First of all, it's because it's the most suffering and most exploitation that happens today by many orders of magnitude is experienced by these animals. But on top of that, we are getting really close to the technological singularity. Are you guys familiar with that?
wait, say it again. My bad.
The technological singularity?
Yeah, like become one with the AI, basically.
Well, I mean, if we're lucky. The problem is that is that we're going to get to a point where the AI will be able to build its own AI systems better and smarter than we can, and
Yeah.
will no longer be useful. And it will just basically take off on its own.
Yeah, like the robots taking over humans. Like
Right.
just yeah, I get it.
We have to make sure that we've recognized what really matters. That question that I asked before, what really matters, the ability to love, we need to know that love matters. We need to show that to the computers before they take over, because if they don't know that before they take over, we're fucked.
Have
Yeah,
you?
because we're
Ha-
gonna be pigs and ants to them, right?
Right. So they're gonna have to. So they're gonna look back at us and they'll be like, "What have you taught us? Oh, you taught us that pigs mattered. That you weren't right before we became like our own thing. Before we kind of took over, we saw that declared that animals had rights, and so we'll give you rights, even though you're just stupid relative to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely look. I don't know. I didn't mention this, but I worked for many years in animal laboratories. So mostly with monkeys. So like that's kind of my areas of like,
Oh,
If you
that's
don't
where
mind
the
me asking.
profile picture comes from.
Yeah. He's the lab monkey, Mojo Jojo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, so I had to like, work with these animals and like, and watch them, not only watch them die from the experiments that were done on them, but also watch them sort of like, bond with their like. So what my thing was like, I would take these solitary animals and I would put them in pairs, because I knew that as horrible as it was to spend your entire life in a solitary little cage, it's much easier to do it if you have a friend with you, you know. So, but like working with these animals, and just like the people that did these horrible things to these animals, it's like most of them, like almost all of them, weren't bad people, and they became friends of mine, and I used to hang out with them and go out getting drinks with them. I'm still friends with some of them, and they were so like again, that word disconnected. It's like a light bulb that hadn't really been plugged in, and it's like they were searching for something, but they didn't know what it was. This one woman that her experiments alone resulted in nearly like over 1,000 monkeys dying, because she was an AIDS experimenter, so she had to kill lots of monkeys for her experiments.
Yeah.
And she told me that she felt such incredible suffering, but she didn't even know what it was. Like, she kept on telling me, I feel so much suffering, but I don't know why,
Yeah.
and she just couldn't face what it was that was causing it, but how could it not be, what she was doing to these animals? Like, how could it not be that? But, so I guess, so I definitely understand what you're talking about in terms of being kind of disconnected or not like feeling that emotion. And unfortunately, like when we disconnect ourselves, we are, it's not like the reality isn't still there. You know what I mean?
People like to be comfortable. That's
Yeah,
why they want to disconnect.
but reality fucks around. I mean, and eventually, you know, maybe it won't be until you're on your deathbed you'll be like, what I miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why wait that long? You know?
Yeah.
I know that like if I would have gone to a slaughterhouse, I would probably, I would definitely, feel bad
But it's not really just
eating
about the slaughterhouse,
eating
honestly.
those things.
It's it's not really about that. It's kind of about just like I don't know. It's just it's not really.
It's easy to be disconnected, and most people choose
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
over like. And
Hey,
yes, I'm disconnected, but I don't see any reason why I should go to a slaughterhouse and have my a
get
weekly
reconnected.
dose of therapy and get connected because I'm good as I am like right now.
Hmm. I don't know if you ever watched those YouTube videos, those people that like put on those colored glasses for the first time after being colorblind.
I mean,
Crying.
they like cry. Yeah, they're crying because like they're seeing everything for the first time.
Logan Paul faked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Logan Paul fake. Yeah,
yeah. That was bullshit though. Like he wasn't crying for real.
but the people that actually are getting emotionally affected by it, like it's a real amazing experience to suddenly see something that you didn't know was there that makes the world such a more beautiful place. And I always go back to this quote by Franz Kafka, who was looking at a cow and saying, I can finally look at you in peace. I no longer eat you." And it's like he never realized. I mean, this is a brilliant author. I happen to be a huge Kafka fan, but like he didn't realize how much he was missing because he was blocking that value of loving anyone who can love. But
Yeah,
once you open that up, man, I mean, it's like it just gives it's like you peel off a layer of yourself, and then you kind of feel just like almost I don't
yeah.
know.
People are disconnected. That's
Yeah.
why veganism is not, thriving.
It's I guess all I can say is that I've suffered a lot in kind of coming to and seeing all this stuff and coming to terms with all this stuff. It's like I've suffered a whole lot over it,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't change it for the world, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I can say. It's worth it. But
Yeah.
anyway, if you want to talk more about some other time, because there's a lot to kind of. I really appreciate everyone in here for like chatting. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was.
it's been
Cool
awesome.
chat.
I had a really good time.
Like I joined this VC because, lately I've been, feeling down and stuff, and I thought it was, because I had like no one to speak to or like less human
Same, bro.
interaction or whatever.
Yeah,
So I just joined the VC, and I think it's a nice way to pass time, and you learn
pretty cool.
stuff all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, well, hopefully we'll all chat again. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.